My parents celebrated when I failed every history test. While other kids were getting grounded, I was getting high fives. It sounds insane, but I had a master plan. The plan was simple: get A, D in Mr. Harrison's history class. Why? Because the top student, Ethan, was the designated peer tutor. And Ethan? He was the reason I bothered showing up to school. My strategy was flawless: fail spectacularly, get assigned tutoring with my crush, and let the academic sparks fly. So I started bombing every test on purpose. I'd write that the pyramids were built by aliens, that the Roman Empire fell because they ran out of pizza. You get the idea. My grades plummeted. But my brilliant plan crashed and burned. Mr. Harrison called me to his desk, a smug look on his face. "Since Ethan is swamped," he said, "I've assigned you to our other top student." He pointed to the back of the class. To Chloe, the girl who corrected the teacher, read textbooks for fun, and saw me as her academic arch-nemesis. This was a disaster. Tutoring with my rival? My social life was over. Our first session in the library was painfully awkward. Chloe slapped the textbook on the table. "Okay," she sighed. "Let's start with your last test. Question 1. What was the primary cause of the Boston Tea Party?" I mumbled my intentionally wrong answer about a literal tea shortage. She just stared at me. Then she opened the textbook to the chapter, slid it over, and pointed. "Read this paragraph." Annoyed, I read it. Then she pushed a different book toward me, a dense, college-level history text. "Now read this one." I did. And my blood ran cold. The two books said completely different things. Our school textbook was wrong. Like, factually, laughably wrong. It was an old, oversimplified edition from the 90s. My stupid answers, while exaggerated, were actually closer to the modern historical consensus than the correct answers in our textbook. That's when Chloe smirked. "You knew, didn't you? You've been failing on purpose." It wasn't a question. She'd seen right through me. I came clean about my ridiculous plan to get Ethan as my tutor. She actually laughed. But then she told me the real story. She had tried to tell Mr. Harrison about the textbook weeks ago, but he dismissed her. "He doesn't like being corrected," she said. So, we made a new plan, together. The next day, we walked into class, armed with 3 different historical sources and a presentation that systematically dismantled our entire textbook. Mr. Harrison was furious, but he couldn't argue with the evidence, especially with the principal sitting in. I went home that night expecting my parents to be disappointed that my grades were about to be fixed. Instead, they were waiting with a cake that said, "We knew you'd figure it out." They were both history professors. They knew about the bad textbook from the first week of school. The high fives, the celebrations for my bad grades, it was all a test. They were waiting for me to stop chasing a boy and start questioning the world around me. They weren't celebrating my failure. They were celebrating the moment I finally started thinking for myself. And honestly, that felt way better than any date with Ethan ever could have.